The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hello and welcome to the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your guest host, Sylvia Anglin, and of course, you're watching the one and only interactive talk show, bringing the best of the Bronx and the world to you. First up, in today's Legal Corner, we touch on the legal definition of what exactly is a lockout. Plus, the end of the summer is approaching, which means school will be back in session. So an expert social worker is here to give parents and students some key back-to-school tips. Also staying on the field of education, the nation's #1 Caribbean franchise is doing more than just making beef patties. They're also giving youth a chance at a brighter future. And do you want to get to know New York through shared videos? And finally, our cameras were out to capture a very special event honoring our fallen heroes. So stay tuned. All this and much more is headed your way because you are now officially open. Hello, Bronxites. I'm your guest host, Sylvia Anglin, and today is Wednesday, August 10th, 2011. And of course, you're watching Open, the only live and interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York straight to your TV set. Feel free to give us a call at 718-960 or send an email to us at bronxnet.org. We invite you to write to us on Twitter at bronxnet.tv. We want to hear from you, so tweet us throughout the show. If you're a basketball fan, you know that usually around this time of year, NBA players are getting ready for the upcoming season. But it's not quite the case this year, as the entire league has been in a lockout since late June, early July, and the threat of a season cancellation lingers. But what exactly is the legal definition of a lockout? Here to answer this question and give us a better understanding is attorney and legal correspondent David Lesh. Welcome.
Hi, Sylvia. Nice to see you again.
Nice to be here.
Are you a basketball fan or a football fan?
I'm a basketball fan.
Basketball fan. Well, these are interesting times for many sports organizations. As you know, we keep hearing the term lockout. We hear the term collective bargaining. Last night we did a show on Today's Verdict, and we had two very interesting guests. We had labor lawyer, his name is Robert Brody, who talked a little bit about the law, and then we had Bobby C. to talk about the sports. Put them together, and what I'm really going to do today is rehash a little bit about what it means to have a lockout. Now, what a lockout is, it gives the owners leverage to negotiate with players once a collective bargaining agreement has expired. This means that you have the NFL or the NBA on one side, the owners, and on the other side you have the players. During the course of negotiations, an agreement will eventually come to an end. Until that happens, you can't have a lockout. Right? Of course, the players can always strike, but you can't have you can't have the strike until the agreement is actually over. But once that agreement has expired, the owners can say, look, don't come to work anymore. We're not going to pay you, and that's it. We're not going to give you your benefits, we're not going to give you a pension, we're not going to give you everything, we're locking you out. That forces labor to then decide, well, what are we going to do now? Whether it's the basketball players or it could be an electrical union, it could be anybody. Mm-hmm. How are we going to handle this? In terms of professional sports, what you're dealing with are millionaires up against multimillionaires, and that's the owners. So the question is, how are they going to split up the revenue that comes in? The lockout forces the owners at this point to say, hey, you only have a certain amount of years to be able to make the kind of money you're making. Professional basketball player, 5, 6 years? Football player, 2, 3 years. So we're going to lock you out and not let you play unless you decide to lower your standards in terms of how much you're expecting to make based on the league. We may want to put in salary caps. We may want to have rookies who come in who can only make a certain amount of money. These are all things that are going to impact how much money you're going to make, but we have to do this because there are certain teams that are not making money. Yes, New York's making money, Los Angeles is making money, but some of the small market teams are not. And if you don't make certain concessions, we can't function together as a league. Therefore, we are going to lock you out. Now, you and I talked a little bit earlier before we got on set that, Ron Artest, there's also a player from the New Jersey Nets who is going overseas to play. Now, some might say that's really breaking the union, because here they are not getting paid by the NBA, but they are going overseas and they're getting paid. So are they really collectively working together as a union? Probably not. But the big issue here is, what's the next step for the players? The players can do one of two things. There's labor law, which allows you to always continue bargaining, collective bargaining with the owners. And then there's something that's called antitrust litigation. What that means is you decertify your union, because you're not allowed to bring an action as a union under the antitrust laws. You have to decertify your union, and you have to individually bring the action, or at least bring it in terms of a class action. But you can't bring the action as a union. Now that has some some advantages and disadvantages for a union to do that. If they decertify, they can go into court, they go in individually, and they say, look, I'm being restrained in terms of my ability to make a living. When there are salary caps and that types of things that the owners are doing, I can't make as much money. You're restraining my trade. There are antitrust violations here, Your Honor, and I want to get money for that. And in the past, players have gotten money individually. The problem is it takes years, and lately many of these unions that have come in that have decertified haven't done as well as if they stayed together as a union and they've negotiated in good faith with the owners. So we're not quite sure where this is heading with the NBA. With the NFL, they finally just settled their negotiations. They ended up into a deal. Some people think the deal is fair. I think the sacrificial lamb in the NFL were the rookies who were coming in from college.
I was going to say that because a lot of them, their potential earning, like people who came in as rookies 2-3 years ago, are sometimes in some cases making almost double what they're making entering, and I think it's unfair.
It's not sometimes they are making double. And the unfair thing is, you had 2 years ago somebody coming in as a rookie is making, let's say they were coming in as making $10 million. Now this year, the rookie's just as good, if not better. It can only make $5 million. But then again, so the league is looking for ways to cut salaries. And some people say, and the sacrificial lamb were the rookies who really don't have a negotiating standpoint because they're still in college. So who is negotiating for them? It's the players who are in there already who are saying, hey, don't cut my salary. Don't have the salary cap affect me, but the rookies are okay because they haven't made their money yet and they're going to be able to make their money. But that's the way it always is. If you don't have a strong negotiating standpoint, you're going to get thrown to the wolves, and that's what happened. All right. Decertification. In most industries, you will never decertify your union. You want your union, you want to stand together, you want to strike, you want to picket, you want to go up against management, you want to say, fine, you want to lock us out, then who are you going to get? Some replacement people? There's nobody as good as we are. We're the engineering union, or we're the electrical union. You need us. So most industries never have decertification of a union.
Okay.
And it's the employers who try and decertify them, who try and break them up, because they have a better negotiating stance if it's individually instead of going after a union as a whole. The professional sports teams or organizations really are the anomaly. You're having a situation where they're actually decertifying themselves. The union is actually saying, we're going to break this up. We're going to break ourselves up and go in and sue individually. The owners say, hey, wait a second, this is a sham. You're not really breaking yourselves up. Yes, you're going in individually under under Brett Favre as a class action, or Tom Brady as a class action, but you're still going in as a union. You're really still negotiating together as a union, so let's call it what it is. Now, if a judge says to the union, or to the decertified union, you're really still acting together as a union, you can't come into our province. You can't come into the court and sue under antitrust litigation by doing this. Then the union has a problem.
Okay.
So we don't really know where this is going because it's such a fine line as to decertification and not decertifying. So I'm not quite sure where this is going to go. But when I asked Bobby last night, Bobby C, during the television show, is there going to be an NBA season, yes or no? And he said yes, but only half. And that seems to be the feelings. I think we're going to lose half the season before the owners and the players finally get on the same page and figure out how to break up this $5 to $10 billion pie, which is the NBA. And
But
you
what
figure
happens
they'd be
with
able
the
to.
players that are going abroad that have already? I hope there's no contracts that are signed, because that would be.
Well, the deal that they've made is
Okay.
that once the agreement is made between the NBA and the players' union, then they can leave wherever they are, whether they're playing in England or they're playing for Croatia or wherever they're playing,
Okay.
they can leave. So the contracts that they sign overseas can be terminated the moment that the agreement is signed between the NBA and the players' union.
Okay.
So which is very, very smart. So from the players' perspective, like, okay, don't pay me NBA, I'll go overseas and I'll make money there. That actually can put some pressure on the players, on the owners, because the owners saying, hey, wait a second, it's not like these guys really need a job.
So
you know?
when do you think a decision will be reached?
Well-
What's next?
First, they decertify. Then they go into court and they possibly bring in antitrust action. But during this time, there's going to be negotiations that are going on behind the scenes. David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, wants to keep salaries down. That's his legacy. That's how he wants to leave the NBA as a commissioner. He built this huge organization, money's being made, but he thinks it's gotten out of hand, and he thinks the players are just demanding too much, and he doesn't want to leave that as a legacy.
Wow, we're out of time today. David, it was definitely a lot of information, and it's interesting that basketball and football were having the same issues at the same time. So I look to hear more. Hopefully when it's resolved, you can come back and we can talk about it.
Thanks, Sylvia. It was nice being here.
Thanks. After the break, we'll discover how the Montefiore School Health Program has grown to become one of the nation's largest school health program.
So when do you think that they'll?
Did you find the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yup.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes. The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster.
Look at this guy. What are you gonna do, kid? Go home. It's hopeless. Yeah, dude, do something with your life. Leave. You're looking stupid, man. Give it up.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool. Really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately. Because time lost is brain lost.
We're reaching that time of year when children are getting ready to go back to school, and some are transitioning from middle school to high school. This kind of transition can make some children and parents anxious, but the people at the Montefiore School Health Program offer the perfect medical, dental, and community services to aid students and their families. Our next guest has been a social worker with Montefiore for the past 8 years, dedicating her career to working with elementary and middle school children. Cheryl Hertz, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, what is a transition like between a child moving from middle school to high school?
Absolutely. You know, it can be a difficult transition. Students are often nervous about what high school will be like. They're nervous about getting bullied. They're nervous about their classes. It can be a really challenging time.
As kids, I mean, it's now August. It's about a month back to school. What can they do? What can parents do to help children prepare to get back to school, like mentally, physically? What are the steps that they should be taking?
I think with all age groups, one of the most important things is to start a routine. As summer's winding down, it's important to really make sure that children have a really specific routine, which means getting to bed on time, which means, having an idea of what, you're going to wear the next day, having breakfast in the morning. It's really important to have a routine. There's a saying, tomorrow starts tonight. So that means if school were to be starting tomorrow, tonight, parents should make sure that the kids know what they're going to wear, know what time they're going to get up, and that they are getting enough rest the night before.
I know I mentioned middle school and high school, but can you tell me, do elementary students suffer from anxiety, get anxious about returning to school, children possibly moving to New York, going to a new school in New York City for the first time? What kind of issues do elementary school students deal with?
Absolutely. Elementary school students get nervous just as the older students do too. They're worried about their teacher, they're worried about making friends, they're worried about the homework. They do suffer anxiety as well. What parents can do is really continuously reassure their children about their abilities to do well and their abilities to make friends. If parents are positive, children will definitely start to feel more confident about their transitions.
Are there specific coping exercises, mechanisms, things that you tell some of your patients or students that they can do sort of to make it through the day and to make it through the school year?
Absolutely. One of the things I always tell my students is to remember the times where they felt like they were doing a great job. So for example, if one test they don't do as well as a previous test, to remember that when they did do well, they have the potential to do well again. So for example, if they're making a new friend, it's always good for them to know that they have the ability to continue to make new friends.
Well, the big issue out there is cyberbullying, bullying on Facebook, bullying in various different on various different social media platforms. Can you discuss with me the certain issues? What is cyberbullying and how does it affect, basically children in middle school and high school? I'm sure children are cyberbullied in elementary school. I wouldn't be surprised now.
Yeah, it is surprising that this is happening younger and younger. So cyberbullying is, the time where the social media sites are used to say mean things, to say, disrespectful things to someone, and it's a constant. It's a way to really, I think, shelter and break up friendships, and it happens more often than parents may be even aware of.
What are the specific tips that not only the student but the parent can take to shield their child from the cyberbullying? A lot of times, I know, especially if someone's new to school, going to school for the first time in fall, they're nervous, and then you have this added pressure with being cyberbullied or the threat of being cyberbullied.
Well, parents definitely should be monitoring all the time their child's use of the internet, text messages, cell phones, all the time. I mean, that might not be the thing that kids really want to hear, that their parents are going to be monitoring it, but it really is for their safety. It's so important for parents to know what sites their kids are on, how often they're on it, and who they're friends with.
So your organization has been working for the last 25 years in providing a service. Can you tell me about your organization and what it does, and where can people find more information?
Well, absolutely. The Montefiore School Health Program has, as you said, been around for many years, and we have one of the largest programs in the nation, which means in we have now, I think we're up to about 18 schools where we have comprehensive mental health, medical health, dental health, and community health services inside of public schools. It's a fantastic service for families to get mental health care. They can family therapy, individual therapy. They can get vaccines, physicals, dental care, and also be linked to services within their community. It's a really wonderful program, and families can go online at www.montykids.org and click on the school health program to learn more about it.
If you had to sum it up for a middle school student, a high school student, and an elementary school student, what would you say to them as they prepare to go back to school?
Well, just to really maintain a positive attitude and to remember that they can utilize resources within their school. School can be a tough time for many kids. It's not always a fun place, and if they need support, schools that have mental health and medical clinics are there for their support. They can certainly utilize the resources within the school. There are guidance counselors and other teachers that they need support from. It's a really important time for them to do their best and to feel confident. So if they're using the support that they have, it's an even better recipe for success.
So if a child is interested in taking advantage of the service, or parents, where do they go? Do they go to the school guidance counselor, principal, dean? Who do they?
Any of the above. So schools that have school health clinics in their schools, parents can walk right in and register their child. And sometimes we get parents coming to the parent coordinator, and then the parent coordinator will bring the parent to the clinic. We're very welcoming to our families because we really think it's such an important service. They can sign up themselves. They can get the guidance counselor to come down or help them get registered. All of the above.
Thank you, Cheryl, and we wish all the students returning to school in the fall the best of luck. Stay right here because there's much more here on Open. So, you've been...
Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
So here are the keys. Congratulations, it's officially yours. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here. Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. So you won't be around for them. And sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test, but you didn't have it. Okay, who wants to check out the backyard?
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
You're really not that talented.
You're not attractive.
too fat.
You're too short.
Too old? Why don't you just give up?
Give up. Give up.
Just give up.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool. Really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately. Because time lost is brain lost.
Hello, viewers. Remember, this is a live and interactive talk show, so join in on the conversation by calling 718-960-7241 or send us an email at open@bronxnet.org. Many people, especially Bronxites, know Golden Crust for its flavorful Jamaican patties, jerk chicken, and other Caribbean dishes. But what they don't know is that they're more than just a franchise. They give back. Recently, CEO Lowell Hawthorne pledged 70 scholarships to youth throughout the United States and Jamaica. And recently, he awarded 30 of those scholarships to students who are entering college in the fall. Mr. Hawthorne is with us now to talk about the scholarship, and with him is one of the recipients, Amanda Plummer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Can you tell me, why did Golden Crust decide to create these scholarships?
As you know, Golden Crust has been around now for the last 21 years, and we're a Bronx-based organization. The company employs about 1,600 people system-wide, and of course, we love the Bronx. This is our home. It's all began here, and it has been the company philosophy and concept to give back people before profit, and that is important for the organization. The Scholarship Foundation represents my parents who have passed a few years ago. They embody the fine qualities of education. They believe in education and they believe in giving back. So as an organization, we believe it was important for us to honor their memory by creating the scholarship in my parents' name. And that being said, over the last 10 years, we have given over 100 scholarships to students. But this year is an extraordinary year for the organization. Despite the economy and what is going back, the organization is not cutting back, and education is not cutting back on our youth. And we believe it's important, and that is why we awarded 30 brilliant and bright students a scholarship last week. And we happen to have beside me here one of our recipients. She's bright and articulate and going, I believe, to City College. So it's a tremendous honor to be here and having one of the students with us.
So before I go to Amanda, I want to know, what were the criteria for the scholarship?
It was a essay competition, and one has to be able to write well, and I'm sure she did an extraordinary good job, and that is why she's here. The foundation is open. You can go online at any given time, go on the website and get all the other information. Unfortunately, only 30 students applied, and we would have liked to have more, but we only had 30 students, and we awarded all 30 students scholarship.
Oh, that's good. So this year was a lucky year. Next year they won't be that lucky. Amanda, I happened to read through your essay. I saw that you went to Aquinas, you were on the dance team, you went from dance to dance ministry. And your junior year, you had an opportunity to go to Chile to serve the community there. Can you tell me, what was that experience like?
It was a great experience. So basically, the summer before my junior year, I was selected to travel through EIL, which is a program. It's the same thing like Golden Crust. We have to write an essay, but there's also an interview process. And once you're selected, you go away for a month. It was community service and travel, so for my first 2 weeks, I did a homestay, meaning I stayed with the family I didn't know. I never met them in my life. They did not speak English, and I was nervous at first, but after like the second day, I was comfortable. I felt like they were my second family. I made a lot of friends. And then my last 2 weeks, I did travel. So I just traveled through different towns and performed community service at a homeless shelter, a school, and I also worked in a school with different English classes. So it was a lot of fun. I would go back anytime.
I commend you as a young adult here in the Bronx. Doing community service is very, very important. So we heard that you're going to City College next year. What are your plans? I know you're very grateful to Golden Krust for the scholarship this year. Can you tell me what does it mean to you, and what are your next steps?
The scholarship means a lot to me because, especially in this day and age, I don't know how I would pay for tuition, even though CUNY is very cheap. Coming from Aquinas, being a private school, tuition was a lot there, so they came in at the right time and was able to help me pay for my tuition, so that's what all my money would go towards. I'm not spending it on anything else but tuition. And at City, I'm interested in English and education, so I'm hoping to take classes that will lead towards that major by my sophomore year. And I'm also interested to minor in theater, which has to do with dancing and singing and acting, so I can do all three.
I noticed in your essay, a great portion of it was talking about dance and dance ministry. Can you tell me how you got into that, and how does it play a role in your day-to-day life and just your community activism?
Sure. So since I was younger, I think maybe 8 years old, I started to dance in my church. And by the time I was maybe 14, 15, I took over the ministry because the previous leader left. And it was just something I did in my church. We danced at different events and everything. And going into high school, I took on the leadership role as captain of the dance team, and I realized that it's something I like to do. So in my church, I decided to start a ministry that would be open not only to the girls in my church, but to other churches and girls in the community or from anywhere, just so that I'm not constricted to one group. And we started in about February. And we had a good solid 15 girls, which is not just from my church. So I was really excited, and I'm just hoping that it'll continue to grow, hopefully into a dance school one day.
So you're all about the community the same way Golden Krust is about the community. Can you tell me what's next for Golden Krust?
We have just branched off into making some great exotic island sauces, and it's great. And it's a new product. It's in all the supermarkets. The company has diversified. We're not just a retail business with over 120 stores throughout the U.S. We are now in Costco's, the Pathmark, and many supermarkets. And the key for the organization is giving back. We have just, as you know, last year we had a Feed the Kids program in which we forged relationship with the Bronx Board President Office. We fed over 1,000 people last year, including homeless. We participate in a breast cancer drive, Eat for the Cause. And this year, it was very unique as well. We had Eat for Education. So if you purchase a crust, all that proceed would go towards the GK education funds. So we believe in giving back, and social responsibility is one of the core elements of the organization success.
So what's next? So I know we, this past Thursday was a scholarship. We awarded the scholarships. What's next? What's the next event for Golden Krust?
There's another big fundraising coming up. That's going to be tomorrow at Glen Island Country Club, which I invite my suppliers, all those who have partnered with Golden Krust, to help to support the cause. What we are doing as an organization is forging relationship with the business community and letting them know the importance of education and the importance of giving back. So it's not just about Golden Krust. I'm an ambassador for education, and I'm trying my utmost best to get other people or other businesses involved in the cause to make a difference in the lives of our young people.
For example, the president had the Urban Entrepreneurship Summit was here a week ago at Monroe College, discussing how small businesses, upstarts, people who, you know, I wouldn't consider your business a small business by far, because you're a franchise, but things that you can do to help the community. It's, you know, little businesses or smaller mom and pops being helped by larger businesses. What can you say to business owners out there that are interested in starting something like a Golden Krust, like what was done many years ago? What's the best advice that you can give them?
two options. One is quite easy. Become a Golden Krust franchisee.
What other options? You want to open a restaurant?
And I will give you all the tools and the information that is necessary to make it happen tomorrow. And secondly, if you want to start a business, just make sure you have a clear vision, you have a good business plan, you know exactly what you want to do, evaluate the risk, ensure that you know what you're doing, stick to your dreams, and of course, just implement it. Execution is the key to success. Just be determined, be disciplined, and do what you have to do. America is a great country. There are a lot of opportunities available. We just got to seize it and run with it.
Thank you. There you have it, sticking to your dreams and execution. Yes. And up next, it's an interactive site that allows New Yorkers to become filmmakers. Find out more after the break.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
So here are the keys. Congratulations, it's officially yours. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here. Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. So you won't be around for them. And sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test, but you didn't have it. Okay, who wants to check out the backyard?
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
MyBlock NYC takes the average New York City citizen and turns them into a filmmaker with the creation of the city's first interactive map. The site allows New Yorkers to take their cameras or smartphones and become filmmakers. They want to encourage everyone to capture stories and real-life moments of New York City. Co-founder and filmmaker Alex Kallman is here to explain MyBlock NYC and where he sees the site going in the next years. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Can you tell me about the site? I went on it yesterday and I was looking at it. It's kind of cool. You see stuff from subways to random stuff from people's apartments.
Yeah. Well, the notion of the site is that maps can do more than just give you directions or show you where to shop or show you the kind of overlaying grid of a city. Within a map, there's all these stories that are happening from the people. So MyBlock is trying to really not just show a map on a superficial level, but really show a map from the human perspective. So we can all really explore a city in a intimate way, so that we have the feeling of being able to walk through the city streets as though we were actually in New York, even if we're not in New York.
So we're taking a look at the grid right now. That's how it looks. This is a new interactive map, so over time it'll grow and we'll have tons and tons of video. Where do you see this going, and how did you come up with this idea?
Well, right now we're really focusing in New York. You know, we're all born and raised in New York City. We love the city. We love the energy of the city. So we really want to make a product for New York Cities and New Yorkers to be able to express themselves and express their own city, so that they can define their own city rather than a single movie or a news program defining their city. You know, this is a chance for them to kind of take it into their own hands. In the next year, who knows? Right now we're focused, as I said, on New York. We want to kind of create the best product that we can for New York, but clearly this has the opportunity to go to other cities around the world, and that could be a lot of fun. So you never know where it goes.
So in theory, we could be sitting here right now, someone could be filming there with their smartphone, and it's a clip, it's a quick drop and upload, or how does it work out? Yeah, it's a quick drop and upload. Right now we're encouraging people to film outside in the streets, because it's really about public life and street life and not about the intimacy of people's homes. But essentially you shoot a video, you capture that moment, and you plug it into your computer, you upload it to the site, and it appears on that map. And that's a very simple and easy thing to do, but also has a really large effect. You know, as I was saying earlier, it really gives you a chance to define your own New York. You can bring up the issues that you feel are happening in your city and have people all over the world understand that. And not just have it be an abstract video in a big bucket of unorganized content, but it can really kind of indicate, this is what's happening right here, this is how I feel about it, and this is what I think, and share that with people. Is there an option for content control? Like, can anyone upload anything at any time, or are there specific benchmarks that must be met with uploading to the website? So right now it's videos outdoors and on single blocks. And we're not discriminating against anybody's videos, no matter how profound or how simple or how funny or sad or silly they are. So it's really to embrace the diversity of perspectives in New York. So the only reason that we would not allow a video to be on the site is if for some reason it were to have some sort of illegal content in it. But we're really trying to kind of accept as many videos as possible. Okay, so when did you, I see this, MyBlock NYC has an installation at MoMA. How did this come about? When did it happen? MoMA is very exciting because the idea is that if you upload a video to the website, you'll be a filmmaker that's showing in the Museum of Modern Art. So the idea is to bring the streets of the city into the museum for all the museum goers to see, and also to bring the museum closer to the city. It came about because we met with the senior curator of a show called Talk to Me at the Museum of Modern Art. Her name is Paola Antonelli. And we presented her the project, and she thought it was very exciting because it kind of, I think, bridges this gap and tells the narrative of a city in a participatory way, not from any single perspective, but from the collection of perspectives. So it opened up in the MoMA a couple of weeks ago, and it will be there through November. So again, if you upload a video to the website, it will show in the Museum of Modern Art. I think this is kind of like a local's guide to New York City, getting to know it from like the base level. But I did notice that on the website you have the option to search by crime, by someone's name, by various different parameters. I saw that there were some items that were shot on the train. How do you see this platform sort of expanding? Will the search get bigger? You know, will you condense it down that people can fit into these 5 categories? Here's where they stay. Where do you see this going?
I think the biggest challenge for us will be to, as the amount of content on the site grows, for the sophistication of the organization's systems of the site to also grow and adapt based on the content that's coming in. So it's really about listening to the people and watching the videos that are coming in that allow us to shape the site to be the most efficient tool that it can be. So our organization, there is a video right now. That's a video that I love. That's actually from a really amazing filmmaker, Charlie Ahern, who made the film Wild Style. But this is just an eccentric character on Canal Street who has his own style. So this person captured this moment, uploaded it to this site, and now if you're a kid in Tokyo, you can kind of have the feeling of walking down Canal Street and seeing what it really feels like to be on Canal Street, rather than just, a line and a word.
So how long does each movie or does each piece have to be?
We don't limit it by the amount of time. We only limit it by the file size. So as long as it's under 500 megabytes, it can go online.
Okay, so in theory, I could potentially put up a 3-minute piece or...
Yeah, people are putting up 15-minute pieces.
Okay.
Some people are putting up 15-second moments. Some people are putting up 15-minute documentaries.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter. It's however you're approaching the medium.
So right now, we're actually watching some salsa dancing in the park.
Yeah.
I wonder where that is.
That's, I think, in the Bronx. It'd be much more useful if we were watching the video on the website, because then we would know where it is.
Seems like they're having a good time. So with this stuff, right now, we're only in New York City. Which borough has pretty much dropped in the most videos on your website?
Definitely Manhattan, which is kind of perhaps expected, because that's where we're based, that's where the studios are, and that's where my film community is kind of grounded. But really now it's about putting pressure on the other boroughs beside Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, to really start representing their boroughs, because each one has its own individual character, and each one is incredibly expressive, and nobody can capture that expressiveness like the people of those boroughs. So we really want those boroughs to really be represented fairly on the map, because if this is something that people from around the world are going to start using to have an understanding of what is New York, what is this sound and culture and style of New York, it's not an honest perspective if it's just Manhattan. So we have to start getting people in the Bronx to easily capture little moments that they see on the streets and upload them to the website and building that new map.
Can you take me from when I log on to myblocknyc.com?
Yep.
What's my next step?
myblocknyc.com. Then on the top of the page, you'll see a login sign up button. Click login sign up. Sign up if you're not already a member. Can you guys still hear me? I guess.
Go ahead,
okay.
go ahead.
You can sign up if you're not already a member. And once you've signed up, then you just click the upload button on the top right and select your file and upload it. It's really simple.
So uploading videos are free?
Totally free, yeah.
Okay. So maximum limit is 500 megabytes.
Yeah.
How many videos can you upload for the day?
The more the merrier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really about kind of like conquering your land, and the more videos that come in, the deeper, of a picture we'll have of New York. And that will be way more interesting and way more fun for people to explore.
Okay, so there we have it. We were watching some video before about there was like a skateboarder on a bridge. I'm sure the viewers at home got an opportunity to look at it.
Cool.
What kind of camera can I use my iPhone? Can I use my BlackBerry?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that you no longer need $1 million to make a movie. The equipment is becoming so accessible and so easy to use that whether you have a smartphone with a video camera on it, a digital camera, a friend that has a digital camera, it's not about the quality of the equipment, it's about what you see and capturing that. And that makes it easy for anybody to participate.
Good. So we're encouraging everyone to go out there, film, become that next Spielberg or George Lucas or whoever is your idol. Encouraging you to go out there and film your borough. Show love. Right after the break, we're taking you out into the open to honor the men and women of the armed forces.
Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Look at this guy. What are you gonna do, kid? Go home. It's hopeless. Yeah, dude, do something with your life. Leave. You're looking stupid, man. Give it up.
In honor of those in the armed services who were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan wars, the Never Forget Foundation has unveiled a wall of honor to celebrate their memory. BronxNet correspondent Arlene Makoko has more.
Works at Engine 38 in the Bronx. Lynch knew he wanted to do something to recognize the men and women from New York State who died while on active duty in Afghanistan and Iraq, but didn't know quite what. That was 3 years ago, and today he's president of the Never Forget Foundation and creator of the state's only memorial featuring the names of the men and women who died while serving, many of whom are from the Bronx.
Oh, it's a small token of my appreciation and everybody that's working with me to do this, to say thank you not only to the guys and girls on the wall, but to their parents, their wives, their fathers, their husbands, their kids, to acknowledge them that we didn't forget them.
The work wasn't easy, but well worth the effort. Each name was crafted on metal and mounted on cherry wood panels. They are men and women, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, daughters, and sons, with the division in the United States military where they served located at the end of each name. Another panel features a flag flown in Afghanistan and another in Iraq. Bronx mother Emily Toro lost her son, Private Isaac Cortez, seen here in November 2007, just weeks after arriving in Iraq.
Well, he was my gentle giant, and he's the type of guy that'll give you the shirt off his back. He was a good boy. He wanted to be a New York City police officer, so he joined the military. But once he finished boot camp, he stressed to me that he wanted to make the Army his career.
Toro praises Lynch for creating the memorial close to home, adding that it has worked to help bring closure to the families and communities still grieving the loss of loved ones. Cortez, who decided to join the military, has a street renamed after him in the community where he grew up. She says the Wall of Honor is yet another sign that his memory here in the borough where he grew up will not be forgotten.
It takes so long to acknowledge these kids, and I think by doing this while the war is still going on, it's more, I think, a little bit easier for the parents not to accept, but to acknowledge that there is people.
Yeah.
There is people out there, you know, appreciating what your son and daughter is doing, or your husband and wife are doing.
And memorialize on this wall as a show of appreciation for their ultimate sacrifice for freedom. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Thank you to those who serve, and thank you for all that you do for us. And also thank you to Arlene. It has been a pleasure coming into your homes. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us, and especially you, our guests, for tuning in. You can tune in tonight for the re-cable cast of Open at 10 p.m. on Channel 67. And of course, you can catch a new episode on Friday at 10 a.m. with Rena Valentine. Have an amazing week, and don't forget to keep your hearts and your minds open.
Krista, make sure you stay with her the whole time. She's new to the country. This is her first day. This is a brand new country. It's a whole different culture.
Gonna be okay.
Now make sure you stay with her the whole time. I'll be here right after school to pick you up.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ignore my mom. She's so annoying. She's totally freaking out about this whole thing. She freaks out about everything. She always does that. Ugh. Ignore my mom. So, you ready for your first day in the Wicked Castle of Doom? I mean, like, seriously, it's so boring. I don't know how they could put us through this, like, every single day. How many schools do you have in your village? None. We're all born free and equal.
Don't discriminate.
These are your human rights. There are 30 of them. They belong to you. You don't have to buy them, or apply for them, or ask permission to have them. They're just yours. No matter who you are, where you're from, how old you are, or anything else. It's just that simple. Now, some people may try to ignore your rights, or violate them, or pretend they don't exist. But they can't change the fact that they're yours. Human right number 30. No one can take away your human rights. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.